Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started here. Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Creativity Fast, Accelerating Artistic Entrepreneurs. Before we get started, I wanted to thank our sponsors, P&G Ventures, Kroger, First Financial, North American Properties, Vora Ventures, Taft, and KMK. This would not be possible without them. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please continue to use the Q&A tool at the bottom of your screen to ask your questions. A recorded version of today's webinar will be provided. Please continue to fill out the survey at the end of the webinar. Thank you all so much for attending. I'm going to hand it off to Kik Lee to get us started.
Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning in to this. This is very special to me because I love being able to just talk to different individuals, whether they're in the music industry or not, just about music in general. It's pretty fun, but just a little background about myself. If you're wondering if my name is Kik and Lee, no, it is not Kik Lee. It's actually a community given name that was given to me by a local youth center. My nickname was Sidekick. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with the Sidekick phone from back in the day, but it's kind of where that kind of came from. And then because I was a big volunteer in this youth arts center, everybody kind of just dubbed me Sidekick. And then as I got older, pretty much it just became Kik. And Lee comes from me doing martial arts. Well, not anymore, but I used to do martial arts and everybody used to joke and call me Bruce Leroy just because I was real silly jumping around screaming wah all the time. But again, a little more about me. I pretty much compose music for marketing and advertising. Some of my clients are Toyota, Samsung, Nissan, Amazon, LG, the list kind of goes on. I do it for social media and for broadcasting. So like I say, TV, whatever, you name it. My music's pretty much almost everywhere. You can go see it listen to it on Spotify, just look up Kik Lee. But pretty much, I'm the founder of the Cincinnati Music Accelerator. The reason I really created the Accelerator was more so because I found a lot of musicians and music creatives, such as music producers, artist managers, talent buying agents, and things like that, really trying to find their footing and just find resources in music. And as I started kind of growing more in my success, it got kind of very depressing, really having these conversations with them and trying to figure out like how do musicians and how do music creators find their voice, how to where are those business tools and mentors to really help them more so in our ecosystem of Cincinnati, where are they at? So I figured pretty much through myself learning the music business, I learned all through internet, mainly Google and YouTube. I consider Google my mom because mom really loves to pretty much tell you everything. And YouTube is dad because dad likes to show you everything. So I use those two to really help me research the knowledge of watching people's videos of entertainment law, just marketing, branding, tactics, but more so to myself as a music producer. But like I say, pretty much was going through that. And then I got the opportunity to receive a $10,000 grant from an organization or a group of people called People's Liberty to give me that opportunity and chance to try it out. I pretty much got money to screw up to see if this thing would work. It ended up actually working out, and here we are today, growing and just becoming better than ever, just really enabling musicians and music creatives to find their voice, connect with people in the community and in the industry to really help accelerate, as we say, their careers. But pretty much we've been navigating, the business model around music industry today. It's changed significantly because of COVID-19. A lot of events are gone pretty much. It's really hard to really get people together in a gathering to really enjoy themselves without having to really socially distance from one another. But we've really been trying to figure out how do we find a way to reactivate those events while being socially distanced and also enjoying each other's company at afar. And different ways we've been doing that is, like I say, we have a mobile stage trailer that we received the grant for that will enable us to go to different underserved communities and communities in general to activate musical programming. We've all been cooped up this entire time, but it's nice for us to really be able to get out there and really physically be able to just provide live music to the people. We have a buskers program called the Street Stage Project, which pretty much allows us to hire local musicians and also musicians far and wide to pretty much go on street corners and do the very thing that they love to do, and that's play music to the community. And it's been really fun watching these musicians interact with people socially distant, and also seeing them receive tips and support. We have a lot of musicians who've been able to actually, pay their bills and, take care of themselves and their families just because of just the activations we've been doing, giving them the business knowledge that we provide, which is like marketing, branding, business finance, music monetization, which that's what I teach because I'm pretty good at taking something and finding a way to monetize it, as well as, like I say, storytelling and performance workshops. Stage presence and telling your story is essential to just being in the music industry, being a musician and being that music creative, no matter what you're doing. It's truly important to be able to articulate that story. That's how you get people to gravitate towards you. But pretty much how we're looking to pretty much change the rules in music is bend them more so, I should say, is really just, again, activating in ways that people are fearful to activate. Those ways, like I say, are just going out to bars and restaurants and saying, hey, can we just put a musician out front? Can we get a musician and just really push them to just say, hey, I want to be out here. I want to engage. I want to enliven this community. And again, I wouldn't call us the middleman. We're more of just the person that validates that it's okay for the musician to be there. I don't know if you know much about busking, but sometimes they get hassled by just local people who just are like, you're not supposed to be here. It's illegal for you to be right here, which is not actually true. For the musicians, the buskers, we teach them, hey, as long as you're not obstructing the walkway, as long as you're not verbally asking for tips, as long as you're not bothering people more so in volume, it's okay for you to be here. Ohio does not have a law that says you cannot be out on a street corner performing. You just have to get permission, especially if you're in front of a business. But like I say, we're just really trying to change the rules and bend things around by just getting out here and activating in creative ways. I mean, I've even thought about, what if we just took a bicycle and turned it into some type of ice cream situation, and then maybe there's like a finger drumming producer that's sitting there playing live beats while serving up ice cream for free. I don't know, I'm just trying to think outside, more so think outside the box, but I've been really big on making sure that as a creative, we think inside the box. We really have to find ways to think more inside the box, because I feel like the box really represents the structure of creativity. We can be as creative as we want to be, but without that box, that structure, the business knowledge, we cannot accelerate to that next point in our careers. And that's just anyone in the arts, anyone just in anything you do. We have to have that structure. There's a model to the success in business. There is a model to that. But other ways, like I say, we're trying to mobilize is we're also trying to start fundraising to get a mobile event center. And that, you heard that right, a mobile event center. It's pretty much a semi trailer with a semi truck that tows it, that literally folds out into an event center. The capacity of it is about 50 people, if I'm correct. The one we're actually looking for is about $350,000. That sounds like a lot, but I know we can get it. I've seen us do some amazing things, and I feel like we'll be able to get that. But some of the building blocks of a music accelerator and training is really finding individuals that are very knowledgeable in what they teach. For instance, the marketing and branding class. We don't want to bring anyone that's just like, hey, I do marketing and branding. It's like, okay, you do marketing and branding. Who have you done it for? What are you doing now? What are different tactics in the marketing and branding? What other modern day tactics? It's nice to know what's past, but what's present and what's the future. We like to keep the musicians informed of the now versus what was. It doesn't, for us, make any sense. So like I say, even in our entertainment law, laws are always changing. We're sitting here having this whole thing going on right now, and I'm sure more than likely a law has just changed. How do we keep up with the modern day changes of just different things in the music industry? And like I say, it's not easy. We really have to sit down, have a conversation with those that we serve and those that we hope to serve in the music industry, and figure out, what are your needs? What are your wants? What are you struggling with? Who can we source locally and who can we source far and wide to help us find a way to build a curriculum to teach you this thing. Like, it's truly critical to just have these knowledgeable people. I have not been able to grow the Music Accelerator by myself. It is truly due to the success of the people around me that has allowed us and myself to grow. For all the instructors in the Music Accelerator to this very day are people that are near and dear to my heart, that gave me advice, that has helped me continue to grow, past and present. And it is, again, those are building blocks in the music industry. It is your network that enables you to be able to get to that next level. And it is truly important that you have those people around you. You know, if you have a buddy of yours or someone, that does graphic design, recruit them. You know, don't be mad that they may not be good at the graphic design and delivering what you want. Your guidance helps them get you to that next level. And that is critical to your success and their success. And then it creates that ripple effect to those around you. Recruit those people around you. Those are building blocks to your success. But like I say, the accelerator, we're really big about just sourcing locally. Um, my goal and vision for CMA is to get us to the point to where we really can end the cycle of starving artists. It may not be in my time, it may not be in your time, but I do believe we'll get to that point where artists are respected in their craft to the point people don't hesitate to pay them what they deserve to be paid. You know, male, female, transgender doesn't matter. We need to be equal in what we do. You know, I'm really big and have gotten really big about saying there needs to be more women visibly in the music industry. I'm not saying there's not enough of them. I'm not saying that they do not exist. I am saying that we need more of them visibly in the industry. Again, I feel like that's another building block as well to building an ecosystem in music. You need these different individuals, these different components to get us to that point. I mean, that's literally the very thing that'll help us in the cycle of starving artists. I want to see Cincinnati become a music city. I want to see pretty much Cincinnati become the music capital of the Midwest. We got a lot of work to do, but I feel like we will get to that point. But, you know, I want to be able to have this dialogue, tell you these things, but I would really love to hear some of your questions as I'm talking. Literally anything, rapid fire, whatever. And like I say, I'll continue to talk and say what I do and give my presentation, but I really want to hear from you all because your questions, you know, they matter. If you don't ask me, I will never think about it. I have a scope just like you have a scope of life. And that is critical that we ask each other these questions. But let's talk about the reality of a starving artist. You know, what do you feel a starving artist goes through? What in your mind do you feel a starving artist is? What do you feel that starving artist is? Do you feel like there's someone that struggles? Do you feel like it's someone that is starving literally for food, starving to pay their bills? What is the starving artist? I mean, to me, a starving artist is someone really trying to make ends meet in the creative craft. That's what I feel a starving artist is. I feel like it takes a million of them to really push themselves, you know, beyond what they're trying to get to. They struggle trying to get to that point because we don't have those relationships. So someone asked, let's see, Zand, I hope I'm saying that right. Why is Cincinnati a great place to grow and revision? I'll answer that question. Literally, if you can't succeed here, you can't succeed. And again, this is my opinion. I'm not speaking for anyone else. If you can't succeed here, you can't succeed anywhere else. Literally, that's how I feel. The reason I say that is because Cincinnati is a small town. It's all you have to do is ask. Literally, a key to success. One of the keys to success is literally asking. People say, hey, how did you get this cool Jeep? I actually asked for the funding to be able to get us a cool Jeep to better serve the musicians that we're helping to serve. A lot of the musicians struggle trying to get to gigs. They don't have a car. Yes, they can take the bus, but why would they take their keyboard, their piano stand, their chair, their mic, their book bag, and the mic stand all on the bus? That is too much to lug. If we have the ability to help them get to that gig, that'll help them be able to pay a bill or just put food in their refrigerator, I will make sure that we are able to do that. And that's why we have that. Let's see. Marcus, how you doing? Let's see. Where do you draw talent from? Are all of the artists Cincinnati based, or do you bring them in from nearby cities as well? All of the above. We bring them from everywhere. Yes, we're called the Cincinnati Music Accelerator, but that does not mean we only serve Cincinnati. Yes, we hone in more in Cincinnati, but if someone comes from Louisville, like a few of our interns, some of them come from Lexington, some of them come from Columbus, we serve you. We serve every single person in the music industry, indie or mainstream. If they need help, we are here. Talent actually comes from word of mouth too. Some people like you are watching this and be like, man, I heard this really dope dude talking on this random Zoom call that I just happened to chime into. And I feel like you should reach out, man. There might be some help there. So we draw a lot of talent from that. Let's see. What is the best way to get in contact with me outside of this seminar? Social media, producer Kick Lee, everything. Or you can email me at kick@cmastaff.org. Or hey, shoot me a text right now. My area code 513-356-9290. Literally text me and say, hey, saw you on a Zoom call. Send me your name so I don't think you're some spam or some weird creep, and we can connect from there. I'd love for us to set up a side Zoom call too with anybody that's interested. And like I say, have a conversation or come by and see the CMA office. I'd love to give you all a tour of the music business. We're building a recording studio, We're building a recording studio in the North Side area, which will be our music creative campus. It'll be a state-of-the-art recording studio solely just to allow musicians who are struggling to find a place that is affordable or just a place to record and rehearse that will offer little to nothing. Let's see. How did streaming change the industry and revenue? Did everyone have to switch to social media when radio play stopped being the most used medium for new music? Absolutely. Streaming changed the game. I'll give you an example. When I started licensing my music and advertising, it got really big to the point people were actually starting to say, hey, I heard your song on this commercial. Where can I listen to it? And I was just like, that's actually a very good question. Another person said, hey, is it anywhere on Spotify? Is there somewhere I can go to actually listen to it on Spotify? And I said, no, there isn't anywhere, but give me a second. Because I actually own a publishing company, I was able to go and actually publish my song. It takes a little while. A lot of the streaming platforms like you to have some time to promote the release, and then it takes a little while for it to be actually input into the Apple Music, Spotify channels and things like that. But pretty much it got in there, and then boom, streaming actually ended up becoming another source of revenue for me. It has become huge for me. It actually is about, I want to say, close to 50% of my income is through streaming. More so the other 50 is licensing, but streaming has really become that significant, source of revenue for me. Let's see, how can high school and college students get involved in CMA? In various ways. Literally, hit me up. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about what you're into. It's not always about me. Heck, it's not really about me at all. CMA was built to be able to help anyone who wants to enter the music industry learn and try to understand how it operates. What is it that you need? How can we help? Who is it that you've been struggling to try to get in contact with? Thankfully, I've been blessed enough to have CMA become a place of validation. People respect CMA. They respect Kick, they respect the team, but they respect CMA because of the good that we do collectively together. We've been able to achieve so many other things just through the art of music. It's just been so amazing. Oh, they don't go anywhere. Jokingly, I say that. They actually go very far, but they stick with CMA. Just because you go through the accelerator, that doesn't mean we chuck the deuces to you. We still keep you here. You are still a part of this family. A lot of them actually do move away, and that's okay. We're not trying to keep you to stay. We're not trying to make you stay here. We're not trying to force you to stay here. We want you to grow. We want you to accelerate. And if you feel like you've exhausted all your resources here in our ecosystem, that's okay. All I ask on the behalf of everyone is to keep in touch. Let us know what you're doing. I know so many other people from Cincinnati and other cities who have been really good resources for myself, my team members, and other musicians who have pretty much been catalyst. If you move, become that catalyst for us. Become that catalyst that tethers us to that ecosystem. We stand united. We grow together. We need each other. You can never say that you don't need anyone. I don't ever want to hear anyone say, I don't need you. I don't want to be bothered with you. You need somebody. You need that job. You need that person to sell you that car. You need someone to cut your grass if you got a house. You need people. We need each other. When did music become my passion? It never became my passion. It was always my passion. It's actually everybody's passion. Name a time you never not listened to a song. Name it. If you can leave it and name a time. Never. It's always been a part of me. It's always been a part of just who I am. Music is sound. We gravitate towards sound. Actually, music plays a big part in just the people that you know. Music has a pitch. Music has a tone. Just like I'm talking right now, that is a tone. Every note is a question, and every question in that after note is the answer. And literally, it's always just been a part of me. It's just my way of being able to connect with people. Music allowed me to really tether in into the very people that I would have never spoken to. A lot of people don't know that I was a foster kid my whole life. I'm 31, no, excuse me, 32. Lost track of that. 32. I went in at the age of 5. And I've always bobbled around in music. I lived in Miami, Florida for a while in a foster home, and I was always around EDM. I was always around techno and trance. And for some reason, just the happy vibes of those melodies always just seem to stick with me. It doesn't mean I don't like hip hop rap. It doesn't mean I don't like folk country. I actually do like country. You'd be shocked. I like some country. Just really depends on the tone and the melody and the story that's being delivered. Again, kind of back to my point, storytelling is critical. It's a part of the way you write music. It's a part of the way you articulate the music. In the accelerator, it allows us to really bend the rules a lot, because music, people have trouble trying to articulate themselves in their music, in the way they write. But people don't know in the way that we write, we can bend rules. That's why every time a new artist comes out, you may be like, man, that sounds different. I don't know if I really like where this new music is going. Next thing you know, you actually end up enjoying it after you've heard it over and over and over. That's a part of bending the rules. That literally is a part of bending the rules because, Lil Nas X, literally, he started bending rules. Other artists started bending rules because people were tired of the same okie doke. They're tired of the same rhythm. They're tired of the same old sound. Bend rules. I challenge you to bend every rule you can bend, respectively. Don't just go out there and do some crazy stuff. Bend the rules, but have a formula behind that rule too. Let's see, how does the accelerator work? Is there a class each session specific for the program? Absolutely. So the way it works is pretty much we have 9 classes. I'll be honest, it's so many, it's 9 of them, but a lot of them I know, like I said, it's marketing, branding, business, finance, music monetization. The way it works, for instance, music monetization, I'll talk about that because that's the class I teach. The way it works is pretty much we bring you in, you go through a 2-hour class. It's usually in the evening, 6 to 8. And the first hour is pretty much instruction, and just how it works and how it navigates. In the second hour, if we have the time, more so Q&A and giving examples. So in music monetization, what I teach more so is the music licensing. How does it work? Why is it critical to the success of just being a recording artist or a musician? How does it help you financially? How does it help you in various other ways? The way this works is, I walk through and I'll give you a snippet. Music licensing is pretty much a form of allowing someone the right to use your music in, as they call, sync, which is video. If someone comes to you, we'll say Toyota says, hey, I want to use your song in our advertising. Great. You don't say great, actually. You say, oh, really? Well, that's awesome. So where is this going to be played? How often will it be played? How many spins do you estimate, you'll be doing? When I say spins, how many pretty much plays? How much are you willing to pay up front? Are you going to pay me this amount up front? Are you going to pay me on the back end? You have the ability in music licensing to, again, bend the rules and actually negotiate. You can negotiate where your music is played. If you only want to play it in the US, say I only want to play it in the US. If you want to play it worldwide, say you want to play it worldwide. Say that you will allow it to be played worldwide. Say that you, every time it plays on a commercial, how much you actually would like to get paid every time it's in a commercial. And I don't mean just on TV. You can monetize social media. Some social media platforms don't allow you to monetize, but you can go by post. You say, hey, I'll allow up to 10 posts within a 30-day calendar for my, songs to be played in your video. You can make the rules, you can bend the rules. Let's see, what is Cincinnati's defining musical sound? The genre or artist that you would say define the Cincinnati music scene? How would they play a role in making Cincinnati the hub of music for the Midwest? That is a really good question. Thank you for that one. I don't actually think Cincinnati has a defining musical sound, but I do feel like Cincinnati has a sound in the sense of musicians. I would now more so envision and love for Cincinnati to become a city of busking. It's really nice to be able to go out, even before the Street Stage project started, to hear musicians actually play. It was nice to sit outside in a patio and just be like, wow, that violinist is actually really good. That singer is actually really good. That pianist is actually really good. I don't know. That's something I literally just have always just questioned, like, what is our sound? Especially when I go to other cities. I like to say, what is that sound? Genre wise, I wouldn't say there's a particular genre. Be honest, I don't know everybody in music in Cincinnati. People have a different lens, different scope and perspective on that. But I feel more like just the genre and sound that we have is just music. I feel like we have diverse genres of music. I feel like we have diverse musicians of different nationalities, different backgrounds, different stories. I feel like we have music. I just don't feel like there's enough platforms and enough spaces and places that allow them to activate for us to visibly see them, for us to musically hear them, for us to actually have a conversation with them. And that's actually what I really hope CMA can really become, is just that catalyst, that hub, that go to for a place to just say, hey, I'm in need of this. Hey, where can I go get a gig that will actually pay me what I feel like I'm worth, or at least give me enough gigs to be able to help me pay the bills. So yeah, I hope I answered those two questions. Let's see, let me read this last one more time so I can remember. How would they play a role in making Cincinnati the hub of music for the Midwest? The way they will actually help is by being who they are, playing what they play, physically being active, physically being boots on the ground, physically just promoting their music, getting out there in the world of just music. Community matters. Musicians are the community. We are a part of that community. We have always, from the very beginning of time, been a part of that. Individual, but as the sound, we are all tethered together through music. Um, I don't know. I really just really love Cincinnati. I love our ecosystem. I love its people. I just love life, man. And I really want to see us get to that point to where we can really just vibe with each other. You know, music has the ability to unite us in different ways. You know, the number one genre I feel like really unites people is jazz. I've not once ever heard of a person say that they hated jazz. Never. That is something that people can really sit down. It can just play in the background and it can just set the tone. I wish I would have just brought a musician in here to really just play something. That would have been cool. I would have got you all a free show. Um, but yeah, Cincinnati, like I say, it is dear to me. You know, I grew up in a different world of just foster care. I was a train hopper. You know, I had headphones on. I had a Walkman that had a cord. I had a bag of batteries. I had this whole big fat thing of CDs that I used to buy from a store back in the day. It used to be called FYE. FYE was really amazing. I really wish they were still around locally. They may be somewhere else, but I really wish they were still around. I mean, it's critical for us to really unite in what we do. You know, if I had to, give some words in how you all could help musicians, listen to their music. If you're not a fan of it, share it with someone that you feel would be a fan of it. Get on Spotify and actually create a playlist. It's actually not that hard. I do it all the time. You know, if I feel like I like a song, I actually categorize everything out, not by genre, but more so by mood, and say, oh man, or music I would suggest. You know, music suggestions. You know, you can actually go to my Spotify now, Kick Lee, and I don't know if all of my playlists are public. I would hope so. But you can see what I'm listening to, and I listen to a wide variety of music. Like I say, when I say I like country, I like country. I like folk. I like to hear bluegrass. I cannot judge genres. If I was to ever judge a genre, literally something would be wrong. I can't sit in the position that I am and judge people because of their music. Now, I will judge and say, that doesn't sound right. You might want to tweak that a little bit, but that doesn't mean I hate the song. It doesn't mean I hate the music. Um, yeah, I know I can go on tangents and ramble. I know I'm probably all off, but this just means I really love what I do. It just means I'm very passionate. Any other questions? I mean, any other questions? Any thoughts? Any concerns? Any advice you may need? You know, I'm here. You know, I've met some really wonderful people in music and just in life that I feel like have taught me a lot. It's taught me a lot. And like I say, it is important for us to actually ask these questions. Yeah, I am a musician actually. I play keys, but I do things more virtually. So, yeah.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you have any like resources that you would recommend, like books, podcast videos, I don't know, anything that would be inspiring or anything that has helped you? I don't know, I'm always just looking for cool new resources to check out.
Yeah, one book that a lot of my students get is How the Music Industry Works, Music Business. You could actually go to Joseph Beth. I'm not quite sure if they're open, or go to Amazon and order it there. You can also get the audio books too on Amazon for free. That's one. Trying to think of, there actually is a podcast that I really like. It's called Dissect. The reason I recommend that one heavily is because I can't remember the gentleman's name. He took the entire like Orange album from Frank Ocean and dissected it, literally piece by piece. It woke me up. Excuse me. I don't want to say it woke me up. It made me more awake than I've ever been, because he did it in a way that it never made me think about just the production flow, the way the music was written, the way it comes in, and actually just even understanding Frank Ocean himself, you know, his life. There were parts in certain songs where you're just like, whoa, I remember he was going through that. I didn't realize he was referencing that. Like, that's a podcast I really like. And the gentleman's done a million others. But I'm trying to think of any other resources. The internet, period. I tell a lot of people, ask Google questions. Don't just say, you know, where can I like fix a car? Like, how do I fix a car? Be precise in what you're asking Google. How do I get into the music industry? Type it out or say it out. More so, say it out. Google's become more powerful than ever, literally, because you'd be surprised who else has actually asked that question, and it sources things globally. So again, that would be really the number one resource I would say to go to.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
It looks like we have a couple more in the Q&A tool.
Okay.
If you want to check those out.
Let me see. What inspires me? Let me answer that one. People, life, love, and I say love in the sense of just admitting it. I don't know. I just am inspired by different people that I meet, that have come into my life, that has loved me, that has had my back, has my sides, my fronts, all my corners, even the people centrifuge. You know, I'm inspired by a lot of people, um, just simply because they care. And when I see that others care about other things, it makes me want to care about what I'm doing more. It makes me want to align myself better and be strategic in just how I activate CMA. I did see one question from Zan. Do you need to be the one? If I said, do you need to be one to run a successful music accelerator? Um, Not quite sure how you're articulating that. Maybe you missed something out, but if you're asking if I need to be the one to run it, absolutely not. I'm just the brain that comes up with the creative ideas. Anyone can start a successful accelerator. It's actually not that hard. For me, it's more of how do you view an accelerator? What is your lens of an accelerator? How would you operate your accelerator? If it's in how to fix cars, okay, step by step, how do you fix a car? You know, what are the intros, the one-on-ones? That's how you can start. How do you do that? Also, just research things. Like I said, use Google. How do I create a curriculum? Period. You know, pretty much all accelerators have a curriculum, just like a college, just like an elementary school and a high school. It's all curriculum based, at least from my scoping perspective. CMA has a curriculum from the marketing and branding, the business finance, the entertainment law, the content management, the storytelling, and performance workshops. We even actually have one of the coolest classes. So personal and professional organization class. It's actually taught by our administrator. She was just like, I feel like these musicians need to understand how an invoice works and how to send it. I feel like we need to better utilize Google Suite. Literally, we run off of Google Suite, period. Everything, docs, spreadsheets, everything comes from that. So yeah, you can start an accelerator. Just pilot it. Don't be afraid and ask questions. Let's see. Let's see if you could write yourself a note addressed to your 20-year-old self. What advice would you write to yourself in that note? You're going to be okay. That's what I would write. You're going to be okay. You will do fine. Just believe. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of the fear. Fear helps drive us in so many ways. So again, I would write to myself, you will be okay. Let's see. As someone studying both technology, programming, and music, where do you find there are gaps in tools to help artists get heard both online, offline and online? That's a good one. I just feel like there are gaps more so offline in physical venues. We don't have enough spaces and places. Everyone thinks we need to go to a concert hall. Everyone thinks we need to be in a bar and a restaurant. We just need more access to spaces and places. Spaces and places. That does not mean a venue. That does not mean a bar or restaurant. If there's a park with a gazebo, allow the musician to have that access. If there's a corner, allow the musician to have access. If you have a business and you love music, allow that musician access to stay out in front of your space, as long as the music is family friendly, and activate. If you know people that have these establishments, tell them these very things. Screenshot this, tell them that. Like, we just need more access to spaces and places. And I feel like that'll give us the necessary resources and tools for musicians to grow. Even the music creators. A lot of music creators, like I say, they play keys. They are finger drummers. Let's see, online, man, there's a ton of things. I don't feel like there's an exact index. And again, if you know of something, please let me know. My scope is small. I only can see so much. But I don't feel like there's a directory that we can go to find in our ecosystems where music resources are. I can't name one website right now where I can go to Lexington, go to a dictionary or not dictionary, but directory and say, where is a recording studio that offers this? Where is there a vocal coach that offers this? Same thing for music producers, songwriters, guitarists. I can't find any website. But I would love for you to be the one to create that website. So hopefully that answered that question. Ooh, how has TikTok changed the music industry? It has changed it significantly. Significantly. It is the music industry. Literally, if you made a song right this very second, go to a studio, whether your closet, whatever, clean it up a bit, put it out. I guarantee you, if it goes viral, you will get paid. You will be okay. Because TikTok allows people to be seen in ways that none of us would have ever fathomed. None of us could ever fathom. It is a tool to allow you to showcase yourself, whether it be musically, whether it be through dance, whether it just be you and your sense of humor. I've seen so many TikTok videos with some funny crap of a lot of my friends. I didn't actually know were that funny or that literally at all. I would meet them, we go to a bar, they'll tell a joke. I'm like, ha. I watch their TikToks. I'm like, this is hilarious. Like, how did you come up with this? TikTok is the industry. It is the future. Now, how long that future will last, who knows? It's really up to you. The more you use it, the bigger it grows. The less you use it, the faster it dies. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's see. Okay. You're just replying to that. Any other questions? Oh, here we go. What do you recommend for a musician trained in the classical style to do to branch out into different genres? Where do you find music? To answer that first question, go online and actually use hashtags. That would be my first recommendation. Hashtags has actually enabled me to find so many people in different genres. I actually spend probably about an hour or so literally just on social media browsing. A lot of people might think that's stupid and crazy, but I actually do. It's understanding your market. It's researching your market. And I don't just mean locally. I mean on a national, worldwide scale. Know your market, know your industry. Don't be afraid to reach out to a producer you see posting beats to say, hey man, I'm really trying to branch out to other genres. Can we collaborate? Collaborate with them. Create something. A suggestion would be, if you have your own little interface, whatever it be, you got your computer, create some loops. If you play violin, you play guitar, you play keys, create some loops. Don't be afraid to send those loops. When you send those loops, here's some legal advice. When you send those loops, only send them through Google Drive, my recommendation, and only send them through an email. That way, say if a producer, and again, this is a side topic, a producer uses it, whoever uses it, and tries to take it, at least you have receipts. Receipts matter. I'm sure you see Twitter. Receipts matter. But yeah, collaborate, research, reach out to people. Don't be afraid to receive a no, or I don't know you well enough. Cool. 7 billion people in the world. A percentage of them are going to say, yes, let's work. Where do I find music? I think that's what you're asking. SoundCloud, shockingly enough. That's my number one way and resource I use to find music. Um, I've always used SoundCloud more so because I would used to upload my beats there. But once I started seeing there were other producers like myself who are Black and that didn't just make hip hop and rap beats, it enabled me and encouraged me to continue to create more. I actually have country beats. I actually have folk beats. I actually have EDM beats. A lot of people in the industry see Black musicians and think that we only do rap, hip hop, and R&B. That's not true. If you go on my Spotify this very second, you will see a diverse genre of music. I actually make ambient music for, well, a lot of them are closed right now, but for therapeutic massage parlors. I actually make music for resorts. A lot of them. Heck, you're probably actually watching commercials or seeing commercials or gone to a resort, hung out at the pool, and there's music, beats just playing overhead. You'd be surprised. My music gets far. It's word of mouth. It's actually cool. And then sometimes clients reach out and say, hey, can you make me a custom playlist? So also to answer that question too, where do I find music? YouTube. Now I actually listen to mixes a lot on YouTube. I pay for the premium. That way I don't get the freaking commercial interruptions. Don't get me wrong. I get paid from a lot of those commercials, but sometimes I just want to vibe out. So I just go ahead and pay for that. But yeah, YouTube, I go look for an hour-long set of theatrical music. I love cinematic music. I've always envisioned myself as being a superhero in some way. If I had to pick a superhero to be in DC, it would be Flash. And then if I had to pick one in the Marvel universe, I actually don't know. I think people would probably say Black Panther. No, it ain't Black Panther. I would actually like to be Iron Man. Dude's smart, man. He's a weird dude, but hey, Tony Stark is who he is. He actually has cool gadgets, and I love gadgets. But long story long, yeah, YouTube and SoundCloud. Let's see, how do you keep emerging talent within Cincinnati in terms of artists feeling like they need to go to bigger markets to improve their talents? I don't actually try to keep them. I recommend that they say or stay. I recommend that they stay, build their portfolio. There are various ways to build your portfolio. Network with the local industry. And again, if you feel like you've exhausted those resources or it's just not getting you to that point, go ahead and move. Like I say, become a catalyst. Don't be afraid to be the catalyst that tethers Cincinnati to other neighboring markets, to other further markets outside the US. The more we have people that are catalysts, the more our ecosystem can grow, the more our community can grow, the more we can enliven and enrich people in Cincinnati. We need it. If people just stayed here, want to be oversaturated, and then two, we wouldn't know what's going on outside of Ohio. Period. We wouldn't know. So, I try to encourage people to stay, but at the same time, I don't force them to stay. If someone says, I feel like I need to leave, do that. Do it, whatever your heart compels you to do. And then to answer the last question? Let's see, to go to bigger markets. If you feel like you need to go to Nashville, go to Nashville. That's all I'm gonna say.
I thought of one more question. So
Yes.
I'm only 18. I'm a second year at UC.
Hey.
And so I know that when I was coming into school, like networking was a scary thing for me, and that was never really something that I had to do. And you've been mentioning networking a lot, so I was wondering if you had any tips on that, really any advice you could offer on creating that network for yourself and not being afraid to reach out to the people around you.
Yeah. To pretty much rid that fear, it's doing it, period. I used to actually sit in Starbucks for many years and just be on Craigslist and searching for clients to sell my beats to. And I remember one day I saw this guy and I was like, man, he looks like he does something really cool. So I actually took what money I had and went up to him and said, hey, you look like you do something really cool. I would like to get to know you. Here's my little makeshift business card. And I would actually like to buy you, your first drink, coffee, your first cup of coffee in the morning. And I still keep in touch with that very person. That was 10 years ago. I still keep in touch with that person. Don't be afraid. It's okay to have fear. Fear actually is what helps drive us to the next point, because the moment you conquer that fear, the more encouraged you feel, like, man, I did that roller coaster. I want to go again. That wasn't as bad. Or, you go out and drive for the first time. You're like, I'm driving. What's next? Now I want a motorcycle. Now I want a helicopter. I want to get my pilot's license. Like, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of a no. That's another thing too. Do not be afraid of a no. Again, there are 7 billion people in the world. Half of them are going to end up saying yes. It's just, again, and this is where it comes to, any advice on, how to improve ideas for the pitch competition. It's pretty much speak genuinely. Speak not in pitch of just what you say, pitch and tone. Believe in what you're saying. My girlfriend literally had a big presentation today, and she's in corporate communications and different things, and she leads sustainability for beauty and healthcare products. And she was very fearful of a presentation, but I told her, you're going to nail it because you actually believe in what you're talking about. If you didn't believe, you wouldn't even be talking about it in the first place. Believe in yourself. Trust in the people around you. Again, don't get on them about just the fact that they're not as good as you want them to be or where they should be. It takes you to help them. Like I say, they're part of your network. Those individuals around you are tethered to a network too. Utilize them. Don't be afraid to go through their Facebook. I do that a lot. I go through, like, who's this person? No, who mutual friends? Oh, they know this person? Oh, I need to get to know them. Don't use it in a way to just be weird and just try to take advantage. Use it in the sense of just being personable. I would go into business wanting to know about you, who you are and why you do what you do. I would actually get to want to know you more. How can I help? Who do I know around me that can help you? Again, believe because you can. Literally, you can do it.
For sure. Thanks so much. We're running low on time here. I was wondering if you have any last few comments, and then I can wrap us up.
My last comments, first of all, I would say, reach out to me. Hit me up. Let's grab coffee. I meet in parks. I get coffee in parks. We can sit at a different bench. My final comments would be, as pretty much what I said to you. You can do it, man. You can do it. The world is so much more different. There are amazing people in the world. Everyone's really looking for new and innovative ideas. They're looking for the next big thing. And we are, in our own way, the next big thing. We can be that. Oh, my phone number, area code 513-356-9290. Shoot me a text. I may not get to you right away, but I'll text you.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to wrap us up here. Thank you everyone for taking the time to join us today. Thank you so much, Kik, for sharing your unique insights with us today. A recorded version of this session will be available later today. Students, we would love to hear your feedback. Please continue to fill out that quick survey that pops up once you leave the meeting. We love hearing your feedback. Join us on Thursday for 2 events. The first one being Bootstrapping 101, Building a Lean Startup with Mahendra and Anu Vora, and Contactless Experiences with Centrifuge CEO Pete Blackshaw. That event will actually be in a meeting format. Pete is looking forward to hearing directly from you regarding feedback for this program. Thank you again, Kik, and have a great day, everyone.